Hi, my name is Mr. Chuck from Black Hawk State Park. Today we're going to be talking about animals in your backyard. Now, animals in your backyard could be animals literally in your backyard, could be in your schoolyard, could be at Black Hawk. They're animals that are around our area of Iowa and Illinois. So if you don't see these in your particular backyard, come over to the backyard of Black Hawk, and I'll guarantee these animals are here. I won't guarantee you'll see them every day, but I'll guarantee you they're all here. We'll start with an animal that is pretty much everywhere, and that's the squirrel. And we have three different kinds of squirrels to talk about today. This is the fox squirrel because it has kind of a reddish fur like a red fox. And then we have the gray squirrel. And I know you're probably saying, no, wait a minute, you have two squirrels there, the gray and the black. Well, actually, I have just the gray squirrel, because sometimes the gray squirrel, you might see it with a gray fur coat. Sometimes the gray squirrel might have a black fur coat, but it's still the gray squirrel. Another squirrel you will not see unless you're out at night, and that's this squirrel right here called the flying squirrel. It's a nocturnal or nighttime animal, and it gets the name the flying squirrel because it jumps off the tree branch and puts out the skin between its forelegs and goes gliding through the air. Animals that can really fly are birds. One of the most common birds we have around is the state bird of Illinois, the cardinal. And that's the male cardinal, the bright red. Iowa has a different state bird, but they're around. Both birds are in both states, and this is the male goldfinch. If you see a goldfinch that isn't bright yellow, it could be the female, or in the winter time you could be looking at a goldfinch that looks like this. It's the male in the winter feather. And this is a bird that sits up on the top tree branch, and if it spots danger, you hear it giving out its warning call, the blue jay. Sometimes it might say the JJJ call. Nocturnal animal, this is the possum. And the possum is different than its cousin, the raccoon. They both come out at night, they both climb trees, but the possum doesn't have the nice furry tail that a raccoon has. This animal can climb. It's called the chipmunk. And the chipmunk likes to eat seeds, and it is able to climb trees, so you'll see the chipmunk in the woods. This is an animal that doesn't try to camouflage itself. Some animals camouflage themselves so they're hard to see. This animal wants to be seen, so animals that see it know that they don't want to mess with this animal because it has a special way of protecting itself, and that's our friend the skunk. Another animal that might be in your backyard, and even though this animal lives underneath the ground, you can tell it's there because when it swims, it pushes the ground up and making this long tunnel that you can see where the ground has been pushed up. And this is made by this animal called the mole. And the mole is in the backyard looking for worms. Go down to the water in the spring. You might find this animal in the water laying its egg. Then it goes back up on the land and spends the rest of its life in the dirt, in the land, either in the woods or maybe in your garden. It's called a toad. Different from a frog because it doesn't have wet, slimy skin like a frog. It has bumpy, dry skin. Now, some people think this next animal is slimy, but it's not. It's dry and scaly. This is the most common snake we have around in Iowa and Illinois. This is one that you can find in your backyard called a garter snake. And the only reason I have it is because I want to use it for educational purposes. If you find one, just let it alone. It won't hurt you. Don't try to pick it up, and everybody will get along fine. The garter snake, very, very common, very helpful snake. Thank you for watching, and be sure and follow us on our Black Hawk State Historic Site website and Facebook. You can keep up to date with all the things that are happening. And really, really, we'd like to extend an invitation for you to come and visit us firsthand. Just explore nature and be a part of it and take advantage of this fantastic wonder of the Quad Cities.